While we are, in order to frame, if you'll look at your agenda, we're talking about priorities for 18 and 19. So up to this point, we've talked a lot about the successes of last year. So we want to talk about what we can look forward to a little bit for next year as well as part of this workshop. And in order to better frame those priorities for 18 and 19, I think it's very important that we begin with our strategic plan. So just want to take a few minutes to talk about our strategic plan. As you know, last year we created a new vision statement. Empower each child to design the future. When we empower someone, when we talk about empowerment or to empower, that communicates that our system is being intentional about creating the skills and dispositions that our children will need to be successful in the future. When we see the phrase each child, it's a recognition that our school district is not going to be about averages or aggregates. It's going to be our success will be measured on the individual success of every child who walks through our doors. And that's something that will be very important for us, that as we grow, we continue to feel that sense of belonging, that our children are not numbers, they are individuals with unique needs, and that we want to be able to address those needs. So that's the power of each child. When we see the words to design, what our focus there is that creative and innovative mindset that we believe our children need. I said this at Convocation, I'll say it again. Our children, to be successful, will not sit on the sidelines. They are going to be active participants. That's why we talk about to design it. Their future, they're going to be an active participant in that uncertain future. And of course, in the last phrase, the future, we almost want to think about the phrase instead of little T-H-E, capital T-H-E, because it's not just about our children designing their own journeys, it's also about the impact that they're going to make on our community, on our society, the future, which is a collective sense. And so absolutely, the vision is a powerful representation of where we want to go and how we want to get there, and it is a call to action as it drives our path forward. We also last year talked about a new mission. So if the vision is the why, the mission is the how. The mission is about how do we accomplish the work and how do we turn our vision into a reality. We cultivate. Unlike a factory, more like a garden. We cultivate. We keep in mind that things like care, compassion, community, these are hallmarks of Lexington One and what make our school district special. All means that we are going to pay attention as a school district when someone is left out of our vision, when someone is not finding the success that we believe that they need to make, that we are going to pay attention to that and work with those children or adults as well. And then it's a recognition, this mission is a recognition that there are specific skills that we will utilize, and we will need to do them in extraordinary ways in the pursuit of our vision. The mission gives us another way to check our decisions, to drive our work, and to evaluate our success. Now, as part of that strategic plan, not only do we do a vision and mission, but we made commitments. We just didn't talk about goals. We talked about promises to our community, that what they could expect from us and how we would work and how we would move forward. So our first commitment is that all students, regardless of circumstances, advance on time, prepared to graduate, and ready to enter college and the military or industry with credential. Now, my favorite line here, it's no secret, is regardless of circumstances. Certainly our children come to us with challenges and circumstances, but I'm thrilled that we work in a school district where those circumstances and challenges are not excuses for failure. Instead, they're opportunities to acknowledge that each of our children have unique needs, and it's a challenge for us. The challenge for us as a school district then is in meeting those needs. They're not excuses for failures. They're opportunities for us to meet their needs. It also highlights that graduation is a goal, but it's not the goal. The goal is to when you graduate from this school district, that you are prepared for the next step in your journey. I do want to make one thing clear when I talk about college. When we talk about college, or when I think about college and conceptualize college, we're not just talking about four-year universities. We're talking about any kind of college. That may be a two-year school. It may be a credential. It may be a certification. It does not necessarily mean a four-year school, but it does mean learning after high school. And, of course, the military or industry with certification. So it's about preparation on the next stages of your journey. Which brings us to our second commitment, which is focused on power skills, that teaching and learning develop power skills. We asked a bunch of people the same question. We said, what skills do you believe our children are going to need to be successful when they leave Lexington 1? We asked business leaders, teachers, principals. The board actually started this. Y'all were the first people we asked this to. And these are the top 8 that came back. So through our new strategic plan, we are committing to being intentional about growing these skills in our students and throughout our school district. Now, I want to be clear here. This is not a new initiative. We're not starting the new power skill training, and that's not what we're doing. It's a recognition that these are the skills that we want our children to experience on a routine basis in our school district, because when they leave us, these are what we believe that they are going to use to be successful. We want them to regularly apply these skills in all that they do through our district. Our third commitment is that our schools are service-oriented centers of learning committed to family and community partnerships. Was there a better example of this than last week? An impending storm, people worried about their community. They came together to pack bags, collect food, collect water, collect supplies. And where did they go to do that? They went to our schools. The community comes together in our schools for times of triumph, and they come together in our schools for times of trial. And that is something that we want to make sure we continue to build trust, we continue to work with our community, and build stronger partnerships throughout our community and for our school district to thrive. We are a great school district by and large because we live in a great community. We cannot separate ourselves from that, and we have to continue to work together to make that thrive. Our fourth commitment is that every adult will be equipped with the skills and resources necessary to advocate for and ensure the success of all students. Really, this comes down to training, resources, pay, and support. And the idea is that all of these factors make sure that we continue to be the school district that we want to be. Our people, I believe Ms. Smith said it a minute ago, no matter what we do, it's dependent upon the quality of people who are doing it. Whether it's Code of the Future, whether it's the centers of study, whether it's whatever's going on, it absolutely is dependent upon the quality of people that we have. And so as this commitment, not just Drive to 35, but it's an overall commitment that we're going to continue to provide the training, the resources, the pay, and the support.
Dr. Little, if I may interject, I think that's one thing Lexington One's always stood for. We always have had quality people. I mean, it's just that's just one of our tenets, and it's so important.
Well, I had a superintendent come up to me when I was first hired, and he said, the reason Lexington One is so good is because y'all have the best teachers. And it's in large part for that to be true, but we want to continue for that to be true each and every year. This strategic plan also did two things that most strategic plans that are maybe unique to other strategic plans or to our strategic plans may be unique, and that is we created portfolio projects. These are projects, I like to think of them as high-leverage strategies. These are high-yield strategies that we believe that if we put the time and energy and resources in them, that will very quickly propel us forward. And, of course, those two strategic projects are Project Hope and then our executive leadership program. Now, just to let you know how these work, as these are implemented and fully understood, then next year they may not be strategic portfolio projects. This may be a one-year thing. They may be a two-year thing. But the idea behind them is they are shorter in duration, but we believe them to be high yield and high leverage strategies for the school district, and you're going to hear about both of those in just a second. Finally, something that you're going to see, and I know this last week kind of threw us off a little bit, but something you're going to see is we are going to talk about our progress in the strategic plan. If we allow the strategic plan to exist in the shadows, that's where it will stay. It'll look great on our website. It'll look great on a shelf. And it'll be great for us to talk about, but will not actually impact any children in Lexington 1. And so we are going to bring to you, be prepared the year ahead, as we will be talking regularly about our strategic plan in our meetings here at the board, as well as our district leadership team meetings and in other meetings across the district. But the idea is, if you don't talk about it, and you don't share your progress, and you don't make that transparent, and you don't make that accountable, we're not going to move forward the way we want to move forward. So we're going to talk a lot about those projects this year. Finally, I just want to say thank you so much for your support in creating the strategic plan. Your conversations launched our strategic planning work last year. We're very pleased with that, very proud of that. And we appreciate the fact that you are helping us keep this work on the front burner and in the work that we're doing, and that making this the focus for the 18-19 school year. Now, what I have coming up next is we're going to talk about a couple of issues. Who's first? Shane, you're first. So we're going to talk about the next portion of this is going to talk about headwinds and tailwinds and what impact that is and how that relates to our strategic plan. So we're going to deep dive into our strategic plan a little bit today.